Introduction. This book began in the quiet of a bedroom, not a laboratory and not a boardroom. As a child, I used to dream ideas that felt bigger than me. Some were wild, some impossible. Most were messy. But again and again, my dreams returned answers to questions I could not solve during the day. Over time, I realized, sleep is not only rest. Sleep is a workshop the mind keeps open after the lights go out. You have probably felt this yourself. You wrestle with a problem at noon, give up, and later that night a shape appears. You wake with a sentence, a sketch, a number, or a next step. There is a reason for that. While you sleep, your brain quietly sorts, connects, and rearranges what you learned. It puts scattered moments into patterns, and those patterns often show up as simple insights in the morning. Not all sleep is the same. At the edge of sleep, when you are drifting but still aware, the mind is unusually open to gentle guidance. Later in the night, vivid dreaming helps connect ideas that did not seem related before. Think of the first minutes of drifting as a spark, and the deeper dreaming later on as the forge where ideas fuse. You do not need to memorize sleep stages to use this. You only need to know there is a right moment to prime your mind, and a right tone to speak in. One night, severe back pain followed me into sleep. For days I could not figure it out. In my dream I found myself measuring the bed. I saw the central beam of the frame bent lower than the head and foot. I woke up, measured, and it was accurate. I fixed the support, and the pain eased. On other nights I woke with product features, numbers for a budget, or a simple solution to a client problem. It felt like my sleeping mind ran diagnostics, then left instructions on the kitchen table for me to find in the morning. This book will show you how to do the same on purpose. You will not force dreams. You will give your brain clear tasks before bed and clean signals as you drift off. With a few minutes each night, you can invite your mind to work for you rather than against you. You will learn to direct that power toward growth, healing, creativity, and steady action the next day. Let's be honest about what you will and will not do. You will not try to control every dream. You will not chase mysterious symbols for hidden prophecies. You will create the right conditions for useful connections to happen and the right habits to capture them. You will learn how to ask better questions at night and how to turn the answers into choices in the morning. Many people go to bed with fear. They replay debts, failures, and unfinished tasks. That habit keeps the stress system running when the body should be restoring itself. In this book, we will replace that loop with short evening routines that quiet the noise and redirect attention. You will practice a 2-minute reset, a 1-sentence intention, a brief picture of success, and a gentle release so sleep can do its work. In the morning, you will run simple steps to catch the first fresh thought before the world distracts you. If you have ever read Napoleon Hill, you have seen parts of this approach. He called it autosuggestion. He believed the mind you use during the day can give instructions to the deeper mind at night. In modern language, that means your last thoughts guide what your brain continues to process while you sleep. The method here keeps the spirit of that idea and pairs it with everyday habits you can actually do. A core theme of this book is training your questions. The subconscious follows the spotlight you set. Ask, "How do I pay my debt?" and your mind fills with pressure and fear. Ask, "How can I increase my income in ethical, creative ways?" and your mind begins to search for opportunity. That small change in framing is not cute wordplay. It is a change in direction. You will learn to choose approach questions that lead to action rather than avoidance questions that keep you stuck. Tonight's preview. Each chapter gives you a simple rhythm, a clear idea, a story you will remember, and a practice you can do tonight. You will learn how to calm the system before bed, how to set one mission for your sleeping mind, how to use the first minutes of drifting without overthinking, and how to collect and use whatever arrives by morning. You will also learn how to keep negative emotion from hijacking your night, and how to build an identity that matches the life you want. I wrote this book for the person who lies down with a noisy mind and wakes up with the same noise. I wrote it for the builder who senses a better answer hiding just out of reach. Your mind works while you sleep. It always has. Now we will teach it to work for you. Tonight, you will give your mind a simple assignment. Tomorrow, you will act on whatever comes. Night by night, you will turn this into a habit. It will feel small at first. Then one morning, you will notice that worry is quieter, ideas arrive faster, and solutions feel closer. That will not be magic. It will be alignment, and it begins here. Chapter 1. The Hidden Power of the Sleeping Mind. When you sleep, your body rests, but your mind continues its work. It sorts, repairs, and reorganizes. It stores what matters and clears what doesn't. Yet beyond those biological tasks, it performs something far more powerful. It creates. In dreams, the mind builds entire worlds in seconds. Landscapes, faces, conversations, even full stories. Try to imagine doing that consciously. To design a single city block while awake would take hours of effort, yet your mind can build a whole city the moment you close your eyes. That tells us something extraordinary. Your brain's creative potential is limitless when your conscious filters are off. Dreams feel long, but most last only a few minutes. The brain is incredibly efficient in this state. It uses symbols and emotions instead of language, compression instead of detail. When you dream, you're not escaping reality, you're reorganizing it. You're combining fragments of memory, emotion, and imagination into new patterns. And here's the secret. Those same powers are available to you consciously if you learn to direct them. Since I was a child, I noticed something unusual. When I was awake, I struggled to solve certain problems, but when I slept, my mind often handed me the answer. I would dream of solutions, sometimes strange, sometimes logical, but always helpful. As I grew older, I realized my dreams were not random. They were conversations between the surface and the depth of my mind. One of those dreams changed how I understood all this. For weeks I had severe back pain. Doctors couldn't explain it. I tried new chairs, new exercises, and nothing worked. Then one night I dreamed of measuring the metal beam under my bed. In the dream, I saw it bent down in the middle. The next morning I checked. It was exactly like that. I replaced the beam, and within days, the pain faded. That was when I realized. My sleeping mind sees what my waking eyes overlook. Your brain does the same for you. It listens every night. If you feed it confusion, it will process confusion. If you feed it clarity, it will process solutions. That's why so many great thinkers have used sleep as a tool, not just for rest, but for discovery. Einstein was said to take naps holding a spoon, so when he began to drift into that thin layer between waking and sleep, the spoon would fall and wake him, right at the edge where creativity peaks. Thomas Edison used the same trick with steel balls. Salvador Dali painted his surreal works inspired by images caught in that fleeting state. They all understood something simple. The moment between waking and sleep, that soft gray zone, is where the mind is most open to revelation. Here's how you can begin training your mind to access that same power. 1. Relax your body fully. When your muscles calm, your thoughts follow. 2. Give your mind one gentle question, something open-ended, positive, and specific. For example, how can I find a better way to manage my time? Or, what is one new idea that could improve my business? 3. Avoid negative phrasing. Never ask, why am I failing? Or how can I stop worrying? Those trigger the wrong search. Ask questions that point to creation, not avoidance. 4. Fall asleep with trust. You're not forcing an answer tonight. You're setting a direction. Over the next mornings, pay attention to the first thoughts that come. Sometimes the answer won't arrive as words. It might come as a feeling, a sudden clarity, or an unrelated idea that makes perfect sense later in the day. You don't have to believe in anything mystical for this to work. Your brain is a problem-solving machine. It just needs clear instructions and quiet conditions. Sleep gives it both. The sleeping mind isn't a mystery to be solved. It's a partner waiting to be guided. Once you learn how to communicate with it, you'll find that it remembers every question you ask, stores every intention you set, and works tirelessly on your behalf. So tonight, instead of falling asleep by accident, fall asleep with purpose. Whisper one question, one desire, one idea. then let go. Because while you rest, your mind will begin to build. Chapter 2. The Subconscious Engine. Right now, as you listen, your subconscious is at work. It's beating your heart, regulating your breathing, and balancing your emotions. You don't consciously manage any of it. This hidden system is the quiet power that runs your entire life. The subconscious is like a great engine humming beneath the surface of awareness. It stores every image, emotion, and word you've ever experienced. It doesn't judge or question, it simply records. But the most fascinating part isn't what it stores. It's what it builds from what it stores. Every belief you hold today, about who you are, what you deserve, and what's possible, was constructed quietly by this engine. You didn't sit down one day and decide how confident or fearful you would be. Those patterns were formed through repetition, emotion, and the tone of your inner dialogue. Scientists studying sleep and memory discovered that the brain becomes most active in reorganizing information when the conscious mind steps aside. During sleep, your brain strengthens the useful connections and prunes away what no longer matters. That's why a full night's rest can suddenly make a problem seem smaller or reveal a solution that was hidden in plain sight. Napoleon Hill understood this long before science could measure it. He called it autosuggestion, the process of deliberately influencing your subconscious through repeated thoughts and emotions. He wrote that whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Behind that famous quote is a powerful truth. Your subconscious cannot tell the difference between imagination and reality. When you visualize success with emotion, your subconscious treats it as a lived experience. It begins adjusting your thoughts and behaviors to align with that image. That's why elite athletes visualize before competing, why public speakers rehearse mentally, and why innovators dream vividly of what they want before creating it. This same mechanism works in your everyday life. Think about it. If you spend the last 5 minutes before sleep replaying failures or worries, you are feeding your subconscious with instructions for more of the same. It doesn't understand sarcasm or self-criticism. It only understands repetition and emotion. So what happens if you change the input? What if, before bed, you focus your final thoughts on what you want to grow instead of what you want to avoid? This is where transformation begins. You can train your subconscious the same way you'd train a skill, by consistent repetition in a calm, receptive state. And the most receptive state you enter every day is the one just before sleep. Here's a simple nightly exercise. 1. Get comfortable. Take a few slow breaths to signal your body that the day is ending. 2. Recall one moment of progress, even something small, an act of kindness, a task completed, a decision made with courage. 3. Visualize what you want next. See it clearly but briefly. Feel gratitude as if it's already happening. 4. Speak a gentle statement. My mind works for me. While I sleep, it brings solutions and peace. 5. Let go. Don't try to hold the thought. Trust the engine to take over. That's it. A few minutes of focused calm before sleep can rewire years of unconscious habit. People underestimate the power of repetition in stillness. You don't need hours of meditation or complicated rituals. The subconscious listens best when you are relaxed and quiet. The state of surrender just before sleep is perfect. Your brain is open, and your emotions are soft. It's a direct line of communication to the deepest part of yourself. As you continue this practice, you'll start to notice small shifts. You'll wake with lighter thoughts, new ideas, and subtle guidance. You may find that problems that once felt heavy now seem manageable, even obvious. That's not luck, it's alignment. The subconscious engine always works. The question is, who's giving it instructions? You or your fears? Every night, you have a choice. You can let your mind drift into random noise, or you can direct it gently toward creation. You can feed it the language of growth and trust. When you do, the subconscious becomes your greatest ally, an unseen worker building your future while you rest. And when you wake, that future will already be in motion. Chapter 3. Training the sleeping mind. Your mind is a loyal worker. It will always follow the last command it receives, whether that command comes from focus or from fear. Most people never realize that they go to bed giving their subconscious mixed or harmful instructions. I'm exhausted. I can't handle this. Tomorrow will be hard. The subconscious doesn't argue. It simply obeys. Training your sleeping mind is not about control. It's about partnership. You're not forcing it to behave a certain way. You're learning how to communicate clearly with it. Think of your subconscious as a night shift worker. While you rest, it's sorting through everything you thought, felt, and believed during the day. The clearer the task you give it, the better it performs. Imagine handing your employee a pile of messy papers with no instructions. That's what most people do every night. But if you give the mind one focused task, it will dedicate its quiet hours to solving it. You simply have to train the habit of setting the mission before you fall asleep. Here's a nightly training routine, a practice to teach your brain precision and trust. 1. Empty the noise. Take 2 minutes to write down anything unresolved from the day, worries, emotions, or goals. Writing transfers them from the mind to paper. Once written, your subconscious treats them as handled. 2. Set the intention. Ask your mind one clear, positive question. Not 5, not 10, 1. Example: how can I improve my health this week? Or, what would make my next project more successful? Keep it open-ended so your mind has space to explore. 3. Avoid negative commands. The subconscious doesn't process negation. I don't want to fail still programs the word fail. Replace it with, I am discovering how to succeed. Always tell your mind what to move toward, not what to escape. 4. Use calm auto-suggestion. Repeat softly, my mind restores me while I sleep. It gives me strength, peace, and new ideas. You don't need to force belief. The repetition itself becomes belief. 5. Visualize briefly. For about 15 to 20 seconds, imagine the outcome you want as if it's already done. See it, feel it, then release it. The emotion is the signal your subconscious follows. 6. Let go. Trust is the final step. Once you've set the command, stop thinking. Your conscious mind steps back, and your subconscious begins its work. 7. Morning retrieval. When you wake, before checking your phone or talking, write down your first thoughts, images, or feelings. Over time, they'll become clearer and more meaningful, your subconscious reporting back. This may seem simple, but consistency is what unlocks its power. The first few nights, your brain might resist. Old patterns will try to keep their place. That's normal. You're retraining a system that's been running automatically for years. If you keep at it, you'll start noticing changes. A random solution might appear while you brush your teeth. An idea for a new business might arrive before you open your laptop. Or you might simply wake feeling lighter, with a quiet sense that something within you has shifted. When you practice this long enough, your mind begins to anticipate the nightly instruction. It looks forward to direction. You'll sense that your thoughts before bed feel powerful, almost sacred, because you know they're programming your next reality. I remember when I first started doing this intentionally. I was managing a difficult project that seemed impossible to finish. Every night, I'd fall asleep frustrated. Then one evening, instead of repeating the problem, I said to myself, show me a smoother way to complete this. The next morning, I woke with a simple realization about reorganizing the workflow. It wasn't dramatic, but it saved days of work. That's when I knew I had tapped into something real. Training the sleeping mind is not an overnight miracle. It's a quiet discipline. Like watering a seed, you might not see the change immediately, but underneath, the roots are forming. So tonight, give your mind the clearest, kindest instructions you can. Then rest, because the moment your eyes close, your second shift begins, the one building tomorrow while you dream. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe and click the notification bell so you'll know when new parts of the Night System and other Frogplum audiobooks are released. Books created to inspire, guide, and help you grow.